to YouTube Geek Week, everyone, or as I call it, just YouTube Week, because, you know, we're always geeks on YouTube. My name is Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil, but people know me on my channel as The Completionist. With my good friends Greg and Alex, we have a show called The Completionist, in which each and every week I take one game at suggestions of my audience and I complete them 100%. I talk about the story, the gameplay, the presentation, the final level aspects of every game, with the heavy emphasis on the completion bonus and the struggle and process of what it takes to complete a game. So in honor of Geek Week, we chose a game that's kind of iconic for gamers, both casual and hardcore. Without further ado, this week's game is Portal.
Yes! Portal playing physics fun! Portal is one of the most unique and creative games to come out of recent history. You must use your mind to solve puzzles by bending space and physics. But Biedman, why Portal for your first Valve review? Why not Half-Life? Where's Half-Life 3? Half-Life will certainly be done in the near future. However, the reason I chose Portal is because I actually haven't completed it yet. Finally, I'll be able to be rewarded with cake. Or at least that's what everyone tells me. Virtual cake? Digital cake? Is it Tron cake? They make Tron cake? Oh, and by the way, the cake is At this point, there are now two Portal games, Portal and Portal 2. I plan on reviewing Portal 2 at some later date, so now let's just focus on the first game. Half the fun of Portal is how you are just thrown straight into the gameplay without getting any inkling of why you're even there. A disembodied computerized female voice begins to speak to you. This is the lovable and sinister computer known as GLaDOS. She will be your guide throughout much of the game, and of course, she eventually becomes the villain. She tells you that it is time to do some experiments, and she opens up a portal for you to walk through. You soon discover that you are a female character when you see yourself going through an open portal. Her name is never mentioned throughout the entire game, but if you watch the entire credits, you can find out that her name is Chell. Through observation and listening to GLaDOS, you are able to deduce that you are in the Aperture Laboratories facility. Little is known about what they actually do until their secret history is blown wide open in Portal 2. But for now, let's bask in that glow of ignorance. A lot of the story behind the Portal games is extremely in-depth and quite convoluted. It's quite the wiki journey if you want to find out more. There is tons of information about how Black Mesa from Half-Life and Aperture Laboratories are actually competing companies. But the real question is, who is the villain? Is it really GLaDOS? I mean, yeah, she seems somewhat evil, but she's also hilarious. And arguably, is she a character? Does she breathe? Does she think? Does she have a goal, a purpose? At this point, we really don't know. I have played Portal tons of times, but I've never actually finished it, nor completed it. So, let's find out what kind of cake we get for traversing through 19 different puzzles.
Gerard, I don't want to spoil it, but...
Dude, I'm getting some cake.
Gerard, I don't want to...
Zip it, Gerg, I'm getting that Tron cake.
I wonder if there's a Jeff Bridges cake. Not a damn CGI one, though.
Portal is just like any other game developed by Valve, clean and smooth to play. The art direction is very similar to that of Half-Life, so no wonder people expect the two to be in the same universe. Throughout most of the game, you are in a very sterile white testing facility. Each room is designed to have that lab testing feel, really aiming for a show and don't tell design. With that said, a lot of the early game is very repetitive, and you really start to feel like a lab rat.
Speaking of which, that's actually one of the achievements.
The entire game is in a first-person perspective, and because of that, it is very immersive. At some points, you definitely feel trapped and will have no idea where to go. And of course, GLaDOS is making fun of you every step of the way.
The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in Subject Hometown here.
There are cameras everywhere, and you are aware that she is watching you every minute.
There are also windows high up on the walls to give that feeling that not only are you being watched by GLaDOS, but you also think you're being watched by scientists as well. Speaking of GLaDOS, what a fascinating character to have as a villain. Because she has that sarcastic monotone voice, she becomes extremely hilarious. Half the reason to play this game is just to hear her talk. As you progress through the game, you're able to see the behind the scenes and inner workings of Aperture and its lore.
Fun fact, Valve actually planned for Chell to meet the mad scientist who wrote all those warning messages on the walls called the Rat Man. However, he didn't make it into the final development. And if you look right there, Gerard, you'll see that he says that the cake is alive!
Probably delicious! The music is also delicious because it goes from being very ambient, minimal, instrumental, and slow tempo in the chambers to very complex tunes that give that high-strung, intense feeling. Portal has two amazing things, writing and gameplay. At its core, Portal is a puzzle platform game. You must solve your way through each area. It can really take a good amount of thinking on your first playthrough as well. The integral way to solve the puzzles is by using the portal gun. It has three functions. You can use it to fire a blue portal, an orange portal, and use it to pick up objects. If you pass through the blue portal, you will exit out the orange one, and vice versa. Some of the puzzles are that basic, however they quickly become much more complicated. Some require you to move blocks, including the now infamous companion cube. Some involve switches, toxic ooze, catapults, energy balls, little turrets, and much more. What's really fascinating is the massive perspective change that occurs when you go through a portal. Depending on where you place your portals, you may get very sick pretty quickly.
I never realized that when you're moving through portals this quickly, how much it reminds me of the scenic camera work from Men in Black.
Can you die during your quest? Of course you can. You can die by falling into the ooze, getting crushed by blocks, tiny machine gun turrets that have the sweetest little voices, and much more. However, one thing that you cannot die by is from falling. Chell wears special boots that protect her from long falls. This is very helpful because sometimes you have to really launch yourself over large distances, and there's a high chance that you're going to miss your destination a few times. The game softly instructs you on how to throw yourself through portals. But if you have a basic understanding of physics, you should have no problem figuring out everything yourself. The best part about each puzzle is how smart you feel when you finally solve it. But look at some of these examples. These are just fun puzzles that really challenge you to your limit. Yet let's be real, how dumb would it all be if we all had access to real-life portals? Portal is practically the exact same on Xbox and Steam. If you want to take a break from the campaign, you can try the two bonus modes in the bonus map section. The first mode is Advanced Mode. Advanced Mode takes 6 levels from the Portal campaign that have been altered a little bit to be more difficult. A certain item might be gone, perhaps the floor that you could once use as a portal is now hard, you get the gist. With a little effort though, you can figure this out no problem. The second mode is the Challenge Mode, which in my opinion is the most difficult. There are 3 types of challenges. The Least Portal Challenge, which challenges you to get to the end of the levels with using the least amount of portals possible. The Least Step Challenge is just that, taking as few steps as possible. And the Least Time Spent, which is just beating the level as fast as you can. Depending on how good you are, you can tackle a majority of these, but it does get very intense. It's not meant for casuals, it's more designed for people who love Portal and want to go that extra mile. The game, at times, will leave you scratching your head with how to complete some of these puzzles, and it gets way worse when you do the actual challenge maps. But here's some advice on how to get a little better.
So, you want to be good at Portal, eh? Well, you're in luck. These are 3 ways to raise your efficiency with the Portal gun. Number 1, the Portal Bump. Portal bumps allow you to shoot portals through walls by precise shots and placements. Number 2, peek a portal. Portals have a travel time, meaning that you can peek through a portal, shoot one, and quickly move back out to easily place portals in harder to reach places. Number 3, edge glitches. Whatever, I don't get it. Look at the footage. Now you're ready to bat at the major leagues of Portal.
Alrighty, so we've beaten all 19 challenges. Let's get some freaking cake. I'm so excited.
Gerard, there's not actually...
That's the sign. That's the sign that says I get cake. Ooh,
Gerard, do not assume the party position.
Ooh, I'm gonna get that cake, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, that's fire. Holy crap. Oh my god, no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
That's what I was trying to tell you. The cake is a lie. A common phrase scratched into the walls throughout your journey. You just didn't pay attention.
I was just so excited for cake. Now's the time to get out. Portal your way out of this fiery death chamber and make your way to GLaDOS' lair.
Through, once again, some basic trial and error, you find out that you have to destroy the cores that are attached to GLaDOS. The first one is a freebie, and you just have to throw it into the disposal fire. The next few you have to knock off with missiles from the turret. To add to all of this, you are given a time limit because GLaDOS is flooding the room with a deadly neurotoxin. After destroying her final core, she starts to break apart, and there is a large explosion.
You then wake up on the ground outside the Aperture facility to see pieces of GLaDOS. You are then slowly dragged away by some type of robot. Just then, a cinematic plays and you fly through the bowels of the testing facility. The camera slows down to a room full of computer cores surrounding a cake and the companion cube. Suddenly, many of the cores glow red and a robotic arm comes down and squelches the flame on the birthday candle.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here. Huge success.
Completion-wise, there's not really a reward, but this is still one that I enjoy regardless. As the credits roll, you get to hear one of the greatest video game songs in history. It's a song called Still Alive, as sung by GLaDOS, which confirms the fact that GLaDOS is most certainly still alive. One of the more relaxing and hilarious treats to receive at the end of a game. There are tons of achievements to take down, including ones like destroying cameras, falling for 30,000 feet. One of the more annoying ones is transmission received. What you have to do is find all 26 radios in each and every part of the game and take it to a specific location. The radio will be playing a weird mariachi version of Still Alive, and it will have a red light on it, but once you find the location, it'll turn green.
Unfortunately, you get nothing. Man, this cake situation is getting worse.
For as innovating as Portal is, it's very short, which is a common complaint or praise from many of the community. The bonus maps definitely challenge your expertise when it comes to Portal. However, the payoff is really not worth it. These last step challenges are such a pain. Traveling only using portals becomes ingrained into your head. I recommend these challenges for die-hard Portal fans or completionists, but the casual audience may or may not enjoy this challenge mode so much.
You know what, Gerard? I'll give you cake.
Really?
Yep. Just as soon as you beat Portal 2.
Portal is a fantastic original game that focuses on showing rather than telling. A lot of the common complaints about Portal is the fact that it's a little too short. However, there is the Still Alive add-on pack you can go ahead and add to it. With that said, if you're a completionist, you might have a hard time fully completing this game 100%, and the casuals out there might not necessarily enjoy that extra effort. With that in mind, guys, this game gets my completionist rating of Finish It.
Finish it!
That's all the time we have for today, guys, but thank you for tuning in for this episode of The Completionist. If you missed last week's episode, give it a click right here, and if you're from the future, give next week's episode a click right about here. Now, if you excuse me, I'm just gonna sit in a Portal loop for days. Literally days, just never-ending Portal loop.
I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces.